you take worrying to a toxic level?
To the point of making you sick.
How to take control of toxic worrying before it takes control of you. Coming up next on Dr. Oz.
All right, today's question. What do you worry about? Natural disasters, career issues, paying bills? These concerns, money, family, aging, they're a natural part of life. Frankly, everyone has worries, right? You got them all here. Wait, that's not a rare one. Retirement, finances, kids, these are all common worries. But what happens when these worries intensify, multiply, and invade your thoughts to the point of making you sick? Dr. Elizabeth Lombardo says this is called toxic worry. And she's here to help you find out if your worries have become toxic, how to stop them down right now. So please explain for everybody, what's the difference between the regular old worrying that we always have in our lives and toxic worry?
Yeah, so everybody worries, right? And sometimes worry can actually be motivating. It motivates you to make positive change. But it's when worry takes over your life. It's when you can't stop worrying. It's when worrying interferes with your life. You're on that hamster wheel of worry and you can't get off. That's toxic worry. And it can literally paralyze you.
Explain, if you can, what particularly concerns you. So if it paralyzes you, does it have health ramifications? What else does it do to mess up your life?
Yeah, so we think of worry as affecting your psychological health, which it certainly can, but it also has an adverse effect on your physical health. It can lead to things like heart disease and strokes, chronic headaches, IBS, and even can lead to having you die earlier.
Toxic worry.
Yes, toxic
To
worry.
pay attention. So the question, of course, is how do you know if you're a toxic worrier? You guys know? Some say yes, some say no. I love this. I love when this is a debate. So Dr. Lombardo says toxic worriers exhibit specific physical symptoms that are associated with their worry. So we can all figure it out right now for sure. Let's go through them. There are 5 tips. Number 1, you have a stomach ache more than twice a week. How do you know if that's related to toxic worry?
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you have a stomach ache for 24 hours and you're vomiting, it's probably a bug, right? Yeah. But if you notice that your worry and your stomach aches coincide, that could be toxic worry, because worry really affects your digestive tract. So it can lead to things like constipation and diarrhea and cramping.
Yeah. Remember, your intestines have probably as many nerves as your brain does.
Absolutely.
So it makes sense that they're connected. They are in most species. They should be in us. All right, second tip. You gain more than 5 pounds per month. That should not shock people, but why is that a sign of toxic worry in particular?
So it's a sign of toxic worry for 2 reasons, biologically and behaviorally. Biologically, worry is a stress, and when our body is stressed, we lay down fat cells, especially in the abdomen, right? And then behaviorally, when people worry, they try to reduce that anxiety, and a lot of times they'll reach for food.
Right. Thirdly, you have trouble sleeping on a regular basis.
Yeah.
What kind of sleep problems, and why is that a sign?
Yeah, so when your head hits the pillow and your mind starts racing with worry, that could be toxic worry if it's happening more than 4 times a week. For some people, they can actually fall asleep, but they wake up in the middle of the night with the mind racing with the worry. That's toxic worry.
I hear that a lot, and we always think we can treat that with pills, but that's actually a sign. Who's having sleep problems now? Let me see your show of hands. Here, we got a victim right over here. Here, what's your name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn, describe your sleep problems and what things are you worrying about?
Well, I wake up at least 3 times a night, and it drives my husband crazy because I wake him up worrying about, did I pay the electric bill? Do I have enough money to pay my daughter's tuition? Did I feed the dog? It's just a constant worry.
Like, how many hours sleep do you get in the night, you think?
About 5 or 6.
Yeah, and then you can't deal with the stress that the toxic worrying is causing. Thank you very much. All right, the 4th tip. Your body, it's an important one. Your body is full of tension, and you often feel angry.
Yeah, so worry is, it's a fear that a threat is going to happen to you. And that can make you feel tense physically, your tight muscles. It can also make you tense when you're interacting with others. So if you notice that you have trouble being irritable and angry with loved ones that you can't control, could be toxic worry.
Who's an angry person here? Who feels this way? You don't have to have the anger. Just there's that sense that you're short a little bit. Hands up. Oh, you got... describe your problems. Oh, take the mic. I can't reach you.
Like why I'm angry?
Yeah, but speaking, what's your first name?
Victoria.
Yeah, describe how this might be a sign of toxic worry in your life. What are you worrying about, first of all, and then how does it manifest in terms of your temper?
Well, I'm 19, I go to school, and I live by myself, so it's also always a worry at all times. I'm worried about bills, I'm worried about schoolwork on top of work, and work going to school. It's just stressful all around for everything.
Yeah. Do you bark at people sometimes because of that?
Yeah, a lot. I actually take my temper out a lot on people. Very easily tempered.
Keep the mic, you might need it. All right, and the fifth sign is your skin is dry. It's, you know, that's surprising. Your skin is a reflection of what's going on inside your body. So if you have a dry skin or broken out skin, pimples, acne, how is that a sign?
Even wrinkles, yeah. So
wrinkles?
Think about it. Yeah. So think about it. Worry is a stress, and stress adversely affects pretty much every organ system in our body, including our skin. So it's not just the occasional breakouts, but when you're having consistent skin problems, the dry skin, more wrinkles than you think you should have, the breakouts, it could be a sign of toxic worry.
So the question is, what needs to be done to stop down the toxic worry at a high level?
You need to take back control of your worry. A lot of people worry because they think it gives them control. It gives them something to do in situations where they don't have a lot of control. But really, worry takes over. And so you need to take back control of your worry. And the way that you do that depends on specifically what you're worrying about.
So we found a few victims from the audience who we're going to work with to help them take back control of their toxic worries. Crystal's joining us. And Crystal worries about money, I see.
Hi.
So what do you fear the most about money? And what does it represent to you?
Yeah, I fear losing my job and not having financial security.
And so you have the worry that we're talking about. What do you do if you've got fear based on money?
Yeah, so first of all, really rationalize. When you're worried about losing your job, for example, use that to motivate you to take the steps that you need. Maybe it's getting your resume together. Maybe it's just being the best worker that you can be. And then determine the difference between possibility and probability. Just because you could lose your job doesn't necessarily mean you're likely to lose your job.
Right.
So if you have the worst case scenario worked out, does that bring you comfort naturally?
Well, if you have the worst case scenario worked out and you're worrying about it, that doesn't help you. That's toxic worry. When you have the worst case scenario and you figure out what could I do to prevent this from happening, or if it does happen, what steps could I take, that's using your worry in an effective way.
So how would you rationalize your concerns over money or your job in particular?
Preparing if it does happen. So starting a savings.
That makes sense. I like the resume idea. Best professor I ever had in school said, always have your resume ready.
Yeah.
No matter what, because you never know.
And work hard.
Well, working hard never hurts. Thank you very much. All right, Tony's joining us. Tony has issues with her family that she's always worrying about. And I gather, like a lot of moms, your mind's spinning about whether they're safe or not. What's specifically going on?
Yes. Considering that I'm a new mom, I have a 13-month-old daughter. Thank you. I'm constantly worrying if her father and I am being the best parents that we can be to her, if we're feeding her enough nutrition, if we're teaching her everything that she needs to learn.
So if you have worries based on family, which seems like a pretty good thing to worry about, why doesn't worrying about your loved one make sense?
Yeah, so, you know, people equate love with worry. Love is not the same thing as worry. And we can love our loved ones without worrying about them.
Dr. Lombardo, what can Tony do to take back that toxic worry?
Interrupt the worry. A lot of times when we have worried thoughts, we feel anxious. The anxiety causes more worried thoughts, and it causes a downward spiral. Interrupt that worry. Think of a silly image in your mind.
I got an example for you if you want. You want a little help?
Sure.
You can all do this on your own, but here's one I thought for you. Just do a little exercise for me. Look at that little picture over there. I've got a picture of a man in a bunny suit. You can even have a little jingle with him if you want. It forces you to laugh off the ridiculousness sometimes of what we worry about. If you break that cycle that Dr. Lombardo was speaking about, it'll get you out of the crisis.
That's a good tip.
Would you do it?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Tony's here. So the what ifs. The what ifs. So I'd like to know about what ifs. What does that mean? Is that the what ifs of what could happen badly in my life?
Actually, Dr. Oz, I worry about if my family or myself were in an earthquake or a plane crash or a car crash. Those are the things I pretty much worry. Even a hurricane. So those things I worry about. Yeah.
How can you take back control of your what-if worries?
Yeah, and it's a really common worry. Postpone your worry. This may seem strange, but stick with me here. So you want to actually schedule a worry time. And anytime a worry comes up, just remind yourself, oh, my worry time is from 10 to 10:30, I'm going to worry then. What this does is it allows you to still give yourself permission to worry, but you do it in a controlled way. You do it during your worry time when you postpone that worry.
So if you could schedule your what-if worries, the hurricane fear, when would you do it?
Well, I'll make sure to do it before, prior, and be more positive about it.
Before, prior, what? Before you go to bed?
Yeah, I think that would help, yes.
I just don't do it when you shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
You know, when you're supposed to be focusing on something else, whether it's at work or with the kids. Sleep, I brought up because we talked about it earlier. That's when a lot of people let those things come up because it's your loneliest time, right? You're all by yourself. You know, it's an away game inside our heads, and we're just trying to deal with all these what-if worries, which are insurmountable, seemingly. So that's not the right time to do them. All right,
Okay.
thank you very much. Let's one more. Sharonda's joining us. And she says she's worried about worrying. What does that mean?
I just can't pick one thing. I worry about finances, I worry about family, I worry about my job. I am always worried.
So what do you do if you're worrying about worrying? How do you take back that control?
One of the best things to do is to really focus on your breathing, and especially the exhale. When we have deep breaths, inhale and exhale, what happens is it actually reduces the stress hormone in our body. So what I would like you to do is just to put your hand right above your belly.
I'll take your worrying.
Take your worry away. And you want to inhale to a count of 5, and when you inhale, your hand goes out. Hold it for 5, and then really exhale that worry out to a count of 5.
Before you do that, I want to test to see if you really were doing it right. So I bought you a little present. Audience, you all have these as well. Take out your little exhaling bubble devices. Ha! I knew I could use these. I've been trying to get these on the show for years. So I want to, listen, we always talk about breathing on this show, and you know how passionate I am about simple things, don't cost you anything, that make a difference. But I want you to focus not on the inhalation, which is where most of us spend our time. We want to focus on the exhalation, because we're going to exhale out, breathe out our worries, both metaphorically but also physically. Take us through it.
Yeah, so go ahead and get your bubbles
Load
ready.
up.
To take an inhale to 5, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 5, and then exhale as much as you can.
Well, that one, mine was
You're doing a
terrible.
Good job there.
There's a good one. Blow these at the person next to you.
And really focus on exhaling that worry.
What do you think about blowing out your worries?
Great.
At least you can smile while you're doing it. All right. Dr. Lamaro, thank you very much. We'll be right back.